In this video, I'm going to explain how to solve this problem without any kind of equation and then with an equation. So if you're watching just for fun, you'll be able to understand this in the next couple minutes. So let's read the problem. A rabbit population doubles every 4 weeks. Why 4 weeks? Well, it takes about 28 days for a rabbit to give birth. 28 to maybe 32, according to raisingrabbits.com. So it takes 4 weeks for the population to double. Now there are currently 5 rabbits in a restricted area. So you start out with 5 rabbits and they can't escape. Okay, our model wouldn't work very good if the rabbits were constantly leaving. So if t represents time in weeks and p of t is the population of rabbits with respect to time, about how many rabbits will there be in 98 days? So a nicer way to say this is actually how many rabbits will there be in 14 weeks, because 98 days is the same thing as 14 weeks. So the non-formula solution, and this might be how I would actually do it in a test because it's a little bit faster. Oh, it's about the same amount of time. But anyway, yeah, you don't really need any special formula. So you start out at week 0, okay, and you have 5 rabbits. Simple. After 4 weeks, how many rabbits do you have? Well, it doubles, so 5 becomes 10. Then after 4 more weeks, you're at week 8. Population doubles again. You'd be at 20. And we just do this a couple more times. Okay, so it'd be 40, and for 16, 80. And yeah, since 98 days is 14 weeks, you just take 98 and divide it by 7. It has to be, within these 2 weeks here, between week 12 and 16. So your number of rabbits should be somewhere between 40 and 80. So if we look back, this is just a multiple choice question. The only answer that's even close is 56. So number 1 is your answer. If you were on the test, you could just stop there and go on to the next one. But if you had a bigger number than 98 days, you might need something like a formula to find out sort of exactly, or a more exact answer than this, because all this can really tell us is it's between 40 and 80. So let's just have a look at kind of what's happening here. Initially you have 5, right? And then 10 is the same thing as 5 times 2. 20 is the same thing as 5 times 2 times 2. 40, 5 times, and then 2 times 2 times 2. And 80, okay, this is no surprise. We have 4 2's there. Okay, I'm getting a little confused. So another way you could write this, that's a little nicer. I don't want to write 4 2's out every time I have to do this. So you could just write 5 times 2 to the 4th power. It means the same thing. It's a little more elegant. It's much faster if you're doing it on a calculator. 5 times, we have 3 2's there, so just 5 times 2 to the 3rd. And if you do the similar thing for the other ones, 5 times 2 squared. This is, well, it's really 5 times 2 to the 1, right? This was 5 times 2 to the 0, because 2 to the 0 is just 1. So, and I'm just kind of explaining that's where this formula is coming from. You can see the number of rabbits, the population, will have to be the initial number of rabbits, in this case is 5, times 2 raised to some power. And in this one, if we just did 2 to the n, you wouldn't get the right answer if time was in weeks. Time would have to be in 4 weeks, which is a little bit, it's not so nice. So to make this thing in, oh, and I picked n instead of t. Really, that should be a t, okay? You just need to change t to t over 4 to get this thing in weeks, because it doubles every 4 weeks. So if you divide that by 4, then, for example, if you had t equals 4 here, you would have p of 4 equals 5 times 2 to the 1, because it's 2 to the 4 over 4. So I'll write this out a little bit more neatly on this page. And this is the more elegant solution. You could use especially if the number of days was much bigger than 98, because, well, it would take a long time to write something out if the population was expected to be 81,920. So 5 times 2 to the t over 4. And to solve for this, well, we want it after 98 days, right? And I said before 98 days is 14 weeks. So now that we have this thing in weeks, just do p of 14. That equals 5 times 2 to the 14 over 4. This is something you can do on your calculator. So I'll punch it in here, and you get 56.56. And we can't have half rabbits, right? So we'll just call it 57. And this lines up wonderfully with 56 here. So if you're on the exam and you get something like this that's simple with such a short period of time, also the answers are spaced very far apart, right, for this multiple choice, I would really consider the first method with no formula to be a shortcut. That's probably how I would solve it. But also, if you can see immediately that this is what the solution would be, that's pretty fast too. So I would especially use the population function or formula if you had a very long period of time, but if it's a short period of time, it's not entirely necessary. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments, or corrections, of course. I hope I haven't written anything that's too false here. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you like the videos, you can press the like button and please subscribe.